In this video, I'm just going to answer the question, how can I create a recurring billing notification for a product-specific type of situation? Now, before I do that, I'm just going to show you how you can create a notification for your recurring billing very easily. And here you have the option to either send the customer recurring charge notifications or not. It's just a matter of clicking this to yes and saving changes. Now, this is an all or nothing proposition though, so if you only want to send recurring billing notifications to an annual subscriber and not send them to a monthly subscriber, well then you need to do a little bit more work, and I'll show you how easy that can be done, but you still have to take a few extra steps. So I'm going to put this back to no, so that no recurring billing notifications will go out. And now I'm going to come back to home, and I'm going to use the CRM and a sales path to do this. So I'll come into the CRM. I'm going to come into my funnels and sales paths. And I have a recurring funnel here, where I have a funnel that I've just called recurring for the purpose of this demonstration. And I'm going to set up emails that go into this at a predetermined time. So let's go ahead and just go into our content library, and I'll set this up real quick. So we'll create another category. We'll just call this, whoops, typo. I'm not going to edit this video. This is just going to be, it is what it is. This is our conversational quickie type of video. Okay, so now we'll add content. Recurring 1. And we'll say 30 days. Okay, if I wanted to, I could split test it. I've done so many videos on the split testing, though I'm not going to do that here. Okay, and then lead first name. Okay, so this will be the first email that I send out 30 days before the recurring billing. And I'm just going to save that content. Now here's a nice little shortcut for you. So instead of coming in and retyping everything, all I have to do is click on the copy. And I'll rename this as recurring 2. And I'll edit. I'm just going to say 10 days. Next step, and here I'll change this to 10 days. Save content. All right, so that's done. Now I'm going to do one more though, just to be on the safe side. And again, I'm just going to copy that, rename it. Edit it. And save the content. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that content, I'm going to put it into a recurring billing sales path. Now, there's multiple different types of sales paths, so you have to do this the correct way. If you were only going to do recurring billing once, you would just not need to do anything other than use the standard, regular old sales path. But if you want this person to recur year after year after year after year, then you have to do a repeating type of sales path, okay? And I'm just going to set this up. Okay, I'm going to put in my purpose. Now this purpose is only for your use. I mean, this isn't going to do anything other than remind you why you created this in the first place. And this seems like a small thing. It seems like you will remember these things, but I guarantee you, when you have 10, 15, 20, 30 different sales paths and 2, 3, 4 years go by, or you get an assistant or an executive type administrator, it's really valuable to have this information in there. These notes help a lot. Okay, so I'm going to keep it as a standard sales path, but I'm going to make it repeating. And when you make it repeating, this allows people to be added to the same sales path and let it start over time and time and time again. The way the logic works in a standard sales path is if somebody's already on a standard sales path and you go and you add them to that sales path again, they don't get added to it. It just continues on the way it is. And the logic for that is it makes sense, because if somebody opts in to your offer, okay, and now there are 3 or 5 emails into your offer, and then they opt in again, maybe from a different page, or they forgot they opted in, whatever the case might be, you don't want to put them on and start them at the beginning again. You just want to say, oh, Billy Bob's already on my sales path. I'll continue on from the point he is at today and ignore this new request. When you put this into repeating, it changes the logic, and again, it's documented here, so you always have this as a reference. And I'll submit that. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, so I'm going to put my emails in there. Select my profile. This one will come from Sally. Content will be recurring 1. And I'm going to put a delay of 335 and save it. I'll repeat that process again for the next email. Again, from Sally, choose my content, recurring 2, and I'll put a delay of 355. And one more time for my third and last email. Again, from Sally. Now I could put that from, just for fun, I'll change that. We'll make this one from Mitch. And that's the benefit of having this type of system. You can use the same email over and over and over from different people and in different purposes. You can have this as a broadcast, as a one-off email, as an autoresponder email, and everyone on your team gets to use this email just by changing the sending profile. And then it customizes it and personalizes it for Mitch or for Sally or for Jim Bob or whoever is the person using it at this point in time. Okay, now this one will go to 364. And now you can see that we have one email going out after 335 days, one after 355, and one at 364 days. Okay, and I want to show you one last thing here. When you look, we put this little annotation in here, this little icon, so you can see that it's repeating. And then you see how the mouse over shows you that this is a repeating sales path. I don't know if we have any others in here. Well, you can see the difference here. See, this is a abandoned cart recovery sales path, and this is an appointment sales path. And these have different purposes, but you didn't ask about those, so I'm just going to stick to the topic at hand. All right, so now I've got my recurring sales path set up, and this is going to send notifications to these people. But what I need to do now is I need to go link my product to it. So I'm going to just add a product, and this will be a standard product, and we'll call this and we'll make this one $100. Create it and edit it. And now we're going to put in our recurring billing. Most people are going to use just the day's delay. This is the most popular. Keep in mind you can create 4 and actually 5 recurring options, because you can have a no recurring billing option, recurring profile 1, 2, or A, B, C, D. And this allows you to let people choose. So instead of having to create 4 or 5 different products, one with a recurring billing, one with maybe a 15-day, a 30-day, a 45-day, and a 60-day. You can do that all from one product, just with multiple recurring billing options. So this is a really nice way to upsell your customers as well and get them to be able to select the frequency in which they want the product. Now in this case, recurring start delay, we're going to have a 365-day, or in this case 1 year, and recurring cycle will be again 1 year if this is an annually billed product. And recurring price, this can be anything I want it to be. So in this case, I'm going to make it $79 as a discount. Okay. And now to make the final connection, I'm going to come into the CRM tab, and I'm going to, when someone buys this, I want to assign this funnel to them. Okay, I want to assign the recurring annual because this is going to give them the notification. But because they're buying my product, I'm going to put them in the coffee club, and I'm going to assign them to this sales path as well. And the reason I'm doing 2 sales paths, I could do 1, but this way I can use this annual recurring sales path for a whole bunch of different products because I assign them to 2 different sales paths at the same time with 1 action. So here, this one is going to tell them about the coffee club and all the great benefits of being in the coffee club and how great my coffee is, etc., etc. And they'll get these notifications right away. They'll get these emails right away. Maybe there's even an upsell notification in here in this sales path where after 30 days, you have your inside salesperson call up and say, hey, why don't you buy more coffee, right? So anyhow, this is the post-sale sales path that you'll use for a product-specific purpose, telling them about the product, maybe doing an upsell, whatever you're going to do there. And then this is the recurring billing notification. Now, again, I could put that in, I could have just put these 3 emails into this sales path on a delay, but it's really not a great way of doing it, okay? It's much better doing it the way I've done it. Keep it separate. This way you can have this sales path focus on product benefits and upselling. This one is just your, let's call it transactional type of sales path. And if I have other products, like let's say my Cash Club or my government work or my Instant Fire sales path, I can still always assign this to that. And maybe I have a monthly program for Instant Fire and I have a recurring annual program for Instant Fire. So instead of having to do this setup every single time, I do it once and then I just assign it to whichever product I choose. So it's a big convenience to do it the way I've done it here. All right, I'm just going to update this. And now when, I may as well keep going. If you made it this long, I may as well keep going, right? And what I'm going to do is accept pay later for this product. Okay, it's just so I can do the demo. Product links. I create a link, test it. And I'm going to use the pay later. Now, if you haven't been familiar with the pay later, this is really a great feature for anyone that does installs. So in other words, you allow people to buy your product and then they can pay you later when they install it. If I wanted to order your, let's say, I don't know, your security system, but I'm not going to pay for it until you actually install it. Now I can order it online, get everything going, get all the sales automation done, and then when the installer installs it, of course, they'll get paid, or you can use this if someone wants to pay with a check. That's another way you can do it too. Okay, now let's come back in here and here's my order. And you see how the charge status is different. You see this pay later, it's got this waiting symbol. So you know that this is a pay later type of product and the person hasn't actually paid for it. And you see here when I want to do a search, I can also search for it. Okay, so we've got that all sorted out for you. So now you can see all these people are here. And now when I actually paid, I click here, change to approve. Okay, now I know this has been actually paid. So it's going from a pay later to an actually paid status. Okay, so here you see now the icons have changed, right? Charge status is done, order status approved, and let's come in here. And now we'll click on Jim Bib, which was supposed to be Jim Bob, but I guess Jim Bib will do. And now you can see we've got his email, his name, his address, all the information that you need for managing this customer going forward. He is in 2 sales paths. You see the recurring and the coffee recurring, or you can look at it this way as well. Okay, as things are happening here. So things are already firing. You see how graphically things are happening here. And I don't even know what's in this. But here's the great thing. What is this for? Well, this one doesn't have a purpose. Okay, it hasn't been added yet. This one has a purpose. Okay, now if I were doing this for my own account instead of this dummy account, I would make sure that all these have a purpose, because this makes it so much easier for me to remember what this is for. This one, again, this is a dummy account. I don't know why I created this one a long time ago, but I do know that I can just click on this and come back. I can look at it. Okay, I can see my emails. I can click on purpose. I can add a purpose. Save it. And if I want, I can look at the list view. Okay, so I can look at it 2 different ways. Okay, whichever I prefer. And of course, now when I go back and I look at this again, I'm going to expand that. And now there's my purpose with a typo. I guess you can tell I stare at the keyboard instead of at the screen. All right, so now I have my sales paths. I can see where I am as far as promoting, selling, reminding, educating, whatever I'm doing with this sales path. This one is going to sit here for a while, okay? This one is just going to wait until 355 days out, and then it's going, or 35 days out, and it's going to send a notification. I've got my order ID here, and of course this always links back, so I can always come back and bounce back and forth if I choose. I can see what automated tasks are occurring. Okay, so these are already assigned, and if I want to, I can put in a comment and talk about okay, so now I can keep a running tally of what I'm doing with this customer. Now, well, let's take it one step further. Manual task, there's none in there, okay, which the 0 would indicate as well. But I'm going to create a follow-up phone call, and I'm going to set it for 90 days out, approximately. Okay, so now this task is assigned, okay, and you see the comments. And the different icons indicate what the different purposes are for these. So this is the reason in a task, this is a comment. If I complete this, now you see that this was a comment and a task that was completed. So all these things will help you keep track of what these customers are doing. It puts the reminders in, it automates your sales, it gives you the visual that you need to see what's going on. And that's all I can show you today. I mean, obviously you can tag them, group them, all those other things, but I'm getting way off the topic, so I'm going to stop here.